OMG, Barb. Ladylike. Okay.
We forgot to introduce ourselves.
Yeah, well, we're going to start. Actually, we're just going to do a fresh start. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, good morning, everybody.
Hi.
I mean, it might not be morning. It might be afternoon or evening, but hello, everybody. Yeah.
We're here with you again.
Yes.
Barb and Cynthia from River City Yarns in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good morning, Barb.
Good morning.
I don't know about you, but I cannot wait for spring to get here.
I know. Ever since daylight savings time, it feels like we've lost some time too. So, is it darker in the morning?
No, it's lighter in the morning.
It's lighter in the morning. You can't sleep in as much.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You lost an hour. But it's just been so cold and so dry, March.
Our winter has continued on since it started being cold really in December and January. And then February and March have been snow almost every day. Mm-hmm. We look out the window of our front store and there are huge snow piles. Mm-hmm. They're piled up 20 feet high.
It'll take a while for it to melt.
Yeah.
But
the weather's so dry too.
Oh, it's terrible. Yeah, my head is itchy, my legs are itchy, my back is itchy.
Do you have static in your hair? Do you find that?
Yeah, well, and your clothes, everything clings to you this time of year, right? You take off your coat and you put on your coat when you leave your home, and then you get to work and you take off your coat and everything's like a freeze-dried bag of clothes.
I know.
It's awful.
I've been using lotion, tons and tons of lotion, but I don't know. It doesn't really help. Yeah. I mean, it feels better for one day and then
we just want some rain, right? Yeah. Clean everything up.
Blow some Chinook winds to us, Calgary. Vancouver, send us more rain and sun. And,
yeah. But spring is coming.
It is.
I've heard that it's around the corner. Yeah. It's not that far away. And now that we have more hours of sunlight, we can weather through this.
Okay.
Right?
If you say so.
I say so. As I scratch my head.
Yeah.
So speaking of spring, Barb, there's this gorgeous pile of Peppino here. What's this all about?
Well, you've heard us wax on poetically about Rhichard Devrieze. We love his yarns. Mm-hmm. This one is the very first one that we ever brought into the shop, and we've had it for probably 15 years. This is Peppino. And Rhichard decided, I think he felt sorry for us that we have this terrible, terrible weather. So he sent us a bag of a brand new color that he's just designed for a giveaway, you guys. So he said, if anybody buys Peppino this month from March the 15th to April 15th, we kept those same dates as our bagless contest.
Okay.
So, mostly so that I wouldn't forget.
Well, actually, I hate to contradict you, but
you're the one that always draws the prize.
The Go Bagless is the 20th to the 20th.
Oh, is it?
But let's do this the 15th to the 15th. I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's some
I'll keep
other
track
reason
of it for you.
Maybe it's our podcast date.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we'll do it from podcast date to podcast date.
For sure.
And he said he'd like to give away this, give an entry to every person that buys a skein of Peppino.
That's so nice.
Isn't that nice?
Yes. I think I saw the email he sent you, and I think the story was that he just finished blowing out his driveway for the second day in a row, and there was a little space at the top of our box that he filled up with this sweater quantity of Peppino. Mm-hmm. This might even be more than sweater quantity.
Well, I said to him, that's a lot of yarn. And he goes, yeah. So I said, should we split it up into two prizes or just give one? And he said, just give one.
Oh,
make somebody really, really happy. You can do an entire sweater and still have leftovers.
That's going to be so nice. So we'll do the draw on April the 20th.
Yeah, I think there's 14, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, something like that.
Baker's dozen.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really nice.
So the draw will be on, April 15th.
Okay. Yeah.
Great. So you guys, if you love Peppino or if you haven't had a chance to try it yet, this is a great time to try it. And we'll get an entry for every skein you buy into this draw. And we'll let everybody know who won.
Right. If you're not here in Edmonton, Rhichard Devrieze has his own little category on our online store. So if you look at yarns by brand, you'll see Rhichard Devrieze, and you can find Peppino there.
As well as Tweed and Finn, too.
Right. So is it any Rhichard Devrieze yarn purchase?
No, it's just
Peppino. Okay.
Just this month.
But you might want to top it off with a little bit of Tweed, which is another fingering weight yarn. It's gorgeous. Yeah.
He's dyeing us brand new colors right now with Tweed.
Oh, nice.
The fun never ends. So check our online store all the time because you'll be seeing our stock comes in every week. It seems like we get a new shipment. And we try and put it all up online so you can see what we've got in the store.
Yeah. Speaking of online, we should tell everybody that we switched our e-commerce platform.
Yes.
So we moved away from one and on to another one. And we're now working with Shopify, which means that if you've gone to our online store, before and you wanted to pay for something, but the only option was PayPal and you didn't like that, now you have PayPal plus all the credit card options.
That's nice because we had a few people say, I don't like to use PayPal for whatever reason. I'd like to use a credit card. So this means now they can, right?
Right. Yep. You can use a credit card. And if you don't have credit cards and you like to use PayPal because it's more of a cash-based or bank-based system, then you can do that as well. That's all good.
And so, but behind the scenes, you guys, we have been working really hard to try and get, our data correct, to merge over, to have photographs for everything.
Right.
And we think we did a great job, but you should let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Tell us what you think of our online store. We'd really like any suggestions too on what you'd like to see in there.
Tell our friends how to get to it.
You go to rivercityyarns.com and then you click on online store. That's how I go in. How do you get in?
That's the best way to do it. Yep. Then you don't have to memorize any URLs or anything like that. Just go to our website and click from there. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. So what have you been working on? Have you got anything finished that you want to share?
I do. I have this. I'm really proud of this one, you guys. This one was crochet. Ta-da!
Yeah, this is
the Willamette. What's it called?
Over the Willamette.
Over the Willamette.
Yeah. This is a crocheted shawl. We talked about this in our last podcast, but now you get to show off your finished object.
Right.
Lovely.
Which, thankfully to Heather, who was our crochet instructor, she helped me through this a lot. Yeah, crochet's not, kind of my thing. It used to be in the 70s. I used to do lots of it. I remember doing a million granny squares. But knitting's my preference. So I really had to think about it. And, it took me a little longer than I think it should have.
The class was all about learning to read crochet instructions from a chart.
Right.
Because I find sometimes crochet instructions can be lengthy. Each row is written out in repeats in an abbreviated format, but still it's reading, and you have to keep, your eye has to keep going back and rereading the repeats. So,
charts are relatively new, are they not? Within the last 5 years for crochet?
I think they might be older than that, but I don't really know.
Yeah. Because I remember books they used to have pages and pages of row and row by row instructions, right?
Yes, yeah.
But the chart was really a neat way to learn how to, and I love that all the little symbols were there, and that Heather explained to us kind of how to read them too, because without that explanation, you've got to do a little trial and error.
Yeah, and she had some good tips for knowing the difference between a treble crochet and a double crochet and a single crochet in terms of the way that it's charted, which I thought was really good.
And then how it should look in your piece. Remember that part where she talked about having two little, looks like an asterisk?
She said the single crochet looks like a pi symbol for all you, math phobes out there. And it does. So when you're going to count your single crochets, that's a really helpful image to have in mind. Counting those two little legs. Yeah.
How about you?
I finished mine as well. So
that's right. You did yours out of our yarn.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's right.
This was colorways
Yeah, this is mine, and I made mine
pretty.
the super giant version.
Yeah.
So there's some options in the pattern. for doing a longer version. So that's what I did with mine.
Yours feels so soft too. So this is Merino.
Yeah, this is Take a Hike from Flock Fibre, and it's a colorway from last year's Flash Mob. Yeah. And did we talk about what yours is made out of?
No, mine's made out of Nurtured Fine, which is Julie Asselin's wool.
Yes.
And it's quite crunchy actually, Cynthia.
It's a little woollier. Yeah. I see what you're saying. And this was this Rambouillet?
Yeah. And there's a few other things in it too. I forget. Oh yeah. Of course I don't have the
label here.
But this is all that I had left.
Wow.
And this was a whole cone.
So is it 100 grams on the cone or more? Oh, we'll check into that.
We'll go get one.
Put it in the show notes. Yeah.
Lovely yarn though. I love the way that Julie dyes this too, because each little stitch, had a different little color going through it.
Oh, yes.
And it's so subtle, you really don't see. But here, a little pink, a little green.
Yeah. That's all. You did a really nice job. And
Thank you.
I think that maybe it could be interesting to see once we do get some humidity back here in Alberta, whether or not, the humidity affects how it affects the wools differently. Because I have had some experiences with other merino wools where I've blocked it and then go into a humid environment and it kind of goes again. So my shawl isn't quite as big as it was when I first started.
That's right.
Yeah. And now, Barb, you have to take me shopping because I need some clothes to go with my shawl.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Let's go. Where do you want to go to?
Oh, boy. Well,
Weststead.
Next month, we're going to be doing lots of traveling.
We are, yes.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that. We'll tell everybody where we're going briefly. And then, maybe we'll get a chance to go shopping.
We're traveling through Montreal next month.
Yes, we are.
And I'm sure that that's probably one of the best places to shop. We should go back to that little linen store that we found in Lucinda's town.
Right, in Sutton.
Yes.
Yes. That was
the most
lovely.
Beautiful linen store. Let's do it.
We always have so much fun shopping.
Oh my God. Okay, we'll make little stops all along the way.
Okay.
We're driving from Montreal
to Freeport, Maine. It's a 6-hour trip.
Are we crazy?
But we probably won't go through Sutton. Maybe on the way back. We'll see.
Yeah. It's just a small 2-hour detour.
Barb is not in charge of navigating in our
We
car.
now know how to get to Sutton.
We do.
Yeah.
As long as you don't miss the turnoff.
Right.
All right. So that's your finished object for this month.
Yes. I have a lot of works in progress.
Yes.
And most of them revolve around new yarns. We've gotten several new yarns into the shop, so I've been swatching all month long. That's what I've been doing. I have a million swatches.
Yes, you do. Yeah. And they're beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you? You have another project too.
I do have another finished object.
Okay.
Okay, let's talk about this. So this is a super secret. Well, is it super secret? It's a new pattern design from our friend Lucy Neatby. We tasked her with the job of creating a new hat pattern for us out of Touchdown, which is our football-inspired yarn.
And it's the one that has the really long repeat of a single color. So half the skein is one color, and the other half is our other colors. So it creates really unique kind of patterns, like the gridiron socks.
Right. And so Lucy came up with this hat, and we're still working on a title for the hat, but we're kind of thinking about Earl Grey's cap. Because the Grey Cup, of course, is our Canadian version of the Super Bowl, right?
You should have explained that first.
And the Earl Grey was the one who donated the cup. But yeah, this is Lucy's hat. So I wanted to do some sample knitting and
do you have a skein of this too that we can show?
I can grab one for sure. And then this is my version. This is the kids' version of the hat, and it's done. So this one's Ottawa. And this is Hamilton. Sorry. I knew it was Ontario. And this one is Saskatchewan. This is Touchdown, Saskatchewan.
Right.
Yeah.
But you know what, you guys? These colors, no matter what team it is, the colors are so nicely done. It doesn't really matter. They're beautiful.
Right, I mean, this is gorgeous. So there's some combinations of domino squares in the cap, and stockinette stitch in here. And if you pull the cap down, you'll see how the striping kind of changes as you go up.
I love this. The big flash. Isn't that neat?
Yeah. But it is designed to wear with this turned up, so you get that double kind of layer of warmth around your ears. And it's a super fun knit because you're never bored. You are always doing these little squares, and Lucy's so clever because you make these squares and you join them together as you go until it fits around your head, and then you make a second row of them, and that's your hat sizing. So you don't have to do a gauge swatch, although it is recommended because it's nice if all the squares are they're designed to be correct. But
this is one of my favorite things to knit.
Domino squares? Yeah.
They're just so much fun. They seem to go really, really quick.
Yeah. So I did up this little hat in, maybe a week. I mean, we don't really get a lot of time to knit outside of work. I know. Right? So, if you were to sit down, you could complete a hat like this over a weekend. It's quite simple.
But it's nice. I feel like, just to be able to get our hands on the yarn. Yes. Especially new yarns that come in. We have to know what they feel like. And we have knitters that knit for us too. Right. But I always like to get the first skeins and test them out, right?
Yeah, and I think it's important. That's part of our job as yarn shop owners, is to provide people with samples or swatches.
For sure.
And when someone comes in and they say, I want to do color work, or I want to do something, really, really warm, then you need to be able to provide a recommendation, right? Yeah. Speaking of which, I bet in your works in progress, you've got some new yarn on your needles. Yeah?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. And you too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's go into that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Do you want to do Valley Tweed?
Sure, yeah.
We've been having a riot with Rowan yarns. Rowan we're just smitten. They've got so many beautiful yarns this season. We brought in Valley Tweed, which we're going to show you right now. And Alpaca Classic is another favorite of mine. What about you?
Oh, well, oh man.
There's so many.
I like cocoon. This winter, because it's been so cold, I've been wearing my mittens made out of cocoon quite a bit, raw cocoon.
I love cocoon too.
Yeah, it's really warm and it's soft. But this new Valley Tweed has been really interesting.
It? Yeah.
Yeah. So, as you may know, because we talked about it, I think last month, we've been doing a knit along here in the store on the saltwater mittens. So I thought I'd kill two birds with one stone.
Right.
And I would try out Valley Tweed whilst making a pair of mittens from the book. And so this is a pattern called Fogo Island 9-point patch.
And all the patterns are based on stories from Newfoundland.
Yeah, the designs, are local to specific regions. Yeah.
So I'm sure the 9-point mitten has got something to do with diamonds. And, they go into their architecture. They talk about their houses and their windows and how they're diamond shapes. And
yes,
it's a great book. If you like folklore, get the book. It's really a lot of fun to read.
Yeah. So this is Valley Tweed in a couple of colors. And as you can see, I haven't done my thumb yet.
Yeah.
And the only modification I did on the pattern is that it ended a bit shorter, so that you'd have more of this salt and pepper pattern at the top of the mitten. But I was really enjoying the pattern. I thought I would just carry on a bit longer. So you certainly can do that. There's no big modification to do to make that.
I think I'd do my cuff a little bit longer.
You certainly can. So there's all kinds of options in the book. Yeah. But this was the only pattern that was specifically at a fingering weight.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I chose
Most of them are worsted, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And we've done up a sample in our Epic yarn, which is really nice too.
Yeah.
And that one is a trigger mitten. And so for those of you who don't know, a trigger mitten has an extra finger here. So it's like a mitten, but you have a thumb and a finger.
Right.
And so if you were a hunter, you could use it as a trigger finger. But
or a fisherman.
Yeah.
You can reel in the fish.
Yeah. But I think, for me, even like for driving, anything where it's nice to have that finger exposed.
Yeah.
So that
you could probably leave the tip off too, so you could still text while you're driving.
Yeah. Oh, my sister. Oh, my sister. All right. So what are you doing with Valley Tweed?
Okay. Well, you're working on the Saltwater project, which is also a workshop and a knit-along. I'm looking ahead a month because next month we're going to be, or the month after, we're going to be all about hats.
Right.
And so I thought, I always wanted to do this pattern since 2007 when we went to Shetland.
12 years ago. Wow.
Can you believe it? I bought this pattern that long ago when we were on Shetland. And
oh, this is beautiful.
this is Kate's, one of Kate's patterns. She's got
Davies?
lots of them. Yeah. But this one just spoke to me, and so I cast on and I started knitting it.
Oh. So I'll hold this up.
Okay.
This is a beautiful pattern. How many colors does it take?
I think 6 or 7. So I don't have all of them designed out yet.
Yeah.
I thought I'd do it as I go, but I've got 5 of them. I think I posted a picture of this on Instagram.
Wow.
So I'm not very far along yet, but it's coming.
Oh, is it a folded over cuff on the headband?
Yeah, and the cuff, the inside of the headband, I've done in a different yarn. I did it in Nord from Drops.
Okay.
It's an alpaca nylon blend, just because it was the right gauge, and I had a ball of it at home.
Yes.
And it was soft.
Yes, that feels really nice.
And then the rest, this yarn is so nice to knit color work with, you guys. The colors just kind of go together so nicely. I had a challenge. I actually wanted to create more contrast, so I knitted a couple of times just to change out the colors so that they would show even more.
Yeah.
Because the wool, they kind of tend to blend a little bit.
Right, and sometimes you don't know until you actually start. I mean, there's lots of techniques, right, for figuring out what colors are the best. Yeah,
wrapping and doing things like that.
Yeah, but sometimes you really don't know until you just start knitting with it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And a hat's, what would you say? Again, I mean, a hat is bigger than a swatch.
Right. But it's a nice swatch.
Sometimes swatching on the needles is rewarding.
Yes. You have a project at the end of it, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So are you holding a color in each hand?
I am.
Or are you holding both colors in the same hand?
Okay. So I go like this. I hold, and I usually write it down, but I usually hold my lightest yarn in my right hand and my darkest in my left.
Oh, that's interesting. I think I do the opposite.
Do you?
Yeah.
Dark and light.
I think it's important to have you want to have, you want to remember how it is that you do it. You don't want to change
halfway through
because that can change your colors.
Yeah. Or the way they look.
Yeah.
I wonder, though, if it would matter so much in this hat just because there's so much color change going on. And they're so tiny, like each row each section is about 8 rows. I don't know if you'd notice it all overall, but
I've had it happen to me in, I did a Lucy Neatby pattern for mittens called Paradoxical Mittens.
I remember those. Yeah. 2 colors, right?
Yeah.
A black and a white sort of thing.
Yeah. And I switched hands and you can see it.
You can see it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think, it just depends. I wouldn't argue with anybody like Arna and Carlos.
Did you do it out of wool or was it merino?
Do you
remember?
It's quite a long time. It's before 2007. So I'm not sure. But I have had that sort of thing happen to you. But so, if you wanted to do an experiment, and some people have done that, like Mary Jane Mucklestone has that, right? Where
right, I saw
she's
that.
She's knit the same thing in 2 different, she's knit the same thing in the same 2 colors, but change the dominance of the yarn. So that's really fun.
I think sometimes yarn plays a big role. I guess that's my point.
Yes.
If you could choose a yarn that has a lot of colors in the palette, sticks well together, a range where you've got a really light tone, a medium tone, and a dark shade. I find that just makes color work so much easier.
Yeah.
I like to photograph them too in black and white so you can see the different intensities of the shades.
Yeah.
Oftentimes you can have 2 really, bright colors and they don't stand out. They don't contrast against one another.
Well, so here's a question for you, because next month our theme is going to be on knitting styles, and we have classes here at the store on continental knitting and on the continental style, and we have classes on the Portuguese style knitting.
Right.
I know you do Portuguese. You've done Portuguese knitting. Yeah. And have you done color work in the Portuguese style as well?
No, I don't use Portuguese for color work.
Huh. So we'll have to talk to some people, or maybe you know, whether or not a different knitting style affects things like yarn dominance. Maybe in the Portuguese style, the stranding on the back is a little bit different, or because you're using your thumbs, that might make a difference. I think
Jan would know.
Yeah. When I did take a class with Arna, from Arna and Carlos, and he disputed the whole yarn dominance thing. But there's a possibility that because of the way that he knits and the way he does his pearl stitch, for example, or the way that he holds the yarns, that maybe there is less yarn dominance than there would be in my case, where I use my left hand to do the design color, and it's a little bit looser than my right hand. But that's one of the reasons why people take our continental style knitting class, because they want to do color work. And they want to hold one color in each hand. And I personally like that style because it keeps my colors, one on each side of my lap when I'm knitting.
Your yarns don't tangle.
Yeah. Well, I think this is yours.
Oh, okay.
That does feel so nice. No, because it might get mixed up with mine.
Yeah.
That's my color too.
I love these little Ziploc bags.
Yeah. Are they from Sheets?
I think we used to sell some of these a long time ago in a store. I don't remember.
It sure does make nice.
It does look like it. It looks like a pair of sheets could fit it.
Oh, that's great. All right, so you were showing me this.
Oh, okay.
This other work in progress that you have.
Get rid of this coffee.
So what's this?
Okay, this is... Everyone's been coming into the store looking for yarns that might work for this project. This project was done with Spin Cycle Yarns. Oh. And they're a small company that has, I believe, like a mill, and they spin some of their own yarns. Oh, and nice. So they've plied this one yarn together, and it looks like hand spun. Ah. It's really unique. And so... Handspun is something that you just don't find everywhere. You can find replicates of it. So we've been having so much fun in the store, finding yarns to either put together or to combine that would work for this project. So right now we have one of these shawls done in Noro. It's just being blocked and finished off right now.
Nice. Which, like a Noro yarn? Or?
We're using Noro Curion.
Okay.
We picked 2 different color shades, and we're just working them from the ball. So because Noro changes colors fairly gradually.
I'm wearing Silk Garden here
there
today.
You go. You're wearing Silk Garden.
So
this is kind of like a shift in color every inch, say, on what would that span be? Probably the width of the scarf.
Maybe, yeah.
So you're going to get some bands that will be wider, some that will be narrower. And you're working with a strand from one ball and a strand from the other. And so you're seeing the play on colors with a slip stitch pattern. So this is just where you're slipping a few stitches. And so I went into my stash and I wanted to knit something a little faster. So I chose worsted weight yarns for my stash. And I did this one. And I'm just loving it, Cynthia, the way that it's turning out.
Oh. So is it, so each stripe, the background color is the same all the way through?
Well, sort of. I took Epic yarn because we had lots of it, and we had a dye class, and I had dyed this yarn myself. Nice. So this was where we just threw it into the jar and let the dye soak up into the entire ball. The outside was this dark, dark teal. And as I'm working into the ball, it's getting lighter and lighter and lighter. So
you did a gradient yarn. Oh, aren't you clever?
Well, it was part of a package in a workshop that we had. It was just so much fun.
Right.
So you can see how, it's starting to change. The
Yes.
background color's getting lighter and lighter. And then I just mixed it with a bunch of yarns I had in my stash.
Oh, this
was
looks like-
another yarn I dyed. It's Epic yarn,
Yeah.
but dyed yellow.
Yeah, you can see that the inside is lighter than the outside. And this feels like Rowan felted tweed Herrin.
It's not.
Okay.
But it's very similar to that.
Yeah.
This one's wool stock. Do you remember my sweater? This was a leftover from that.
Yes. So is the pattern written for DK or worsted yarns?
Yes. Yeah, this one. She also has a cowl, a smaller one that's knit in, I believe, fingering for sport.
Yeah. And so and so I have to show the inside of this too, because if you were to flip this shawl over, the inside looks as nice as the outside. You've done a really nice job.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. It's just a joy to knit and loving the colors.
Yeah.
So now I'm getting
Really
into
squishy.
Yeah. And I think it's going to block out really big too.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll have to get some really good blocking wires for that.
Tell me about the edging on here, because that's really interesting.
Okay, so Andrea's got a really neat thing on her pattern. She slips the stitches on the edge.
Yes.
And then when you start to knit again, it creates sort of a rolled edge, almost like an I-cord.
Right. It does look like I-cord.
Yeah. You need to go out and buy this pattern.
Okay,
It's
so
a
this
really,
one,
really good pattern.
this one's called Nightshift by Andrea Renee Knits, or Andrea Mowry.
Andrea Mowry.
Oh, that's really nice.
So much fun. So this has been TV knitting.
Right. And, even though it's a thicker weight, and even though, we're hopefully heading into summer very soon, those cool evenings, when you're outside, it's nice. I remember going to one of Rachel's birthday parties, which is at the end of April, and just freezing.
I know.
Because the wind is so cold. So.
You need a blanket, sometimes in the evening.
You do. Yeah, absolutely.
This would make a great blanket.
Yeah. Barb always has these.
You have to hack. Right?
But you always have these big ideas. You like to knit big things.
I do like to knit, and I especially like to knit blankets. It's one of my favorite things to do.
I was over at Barb's house maybe a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. And I sat down.
Fun.
Yeah, I sat down. We met up with our other sister, and I sat down in a big chair, and the first thing I did was pull the blanket off the back of the chair and arrange it over my knees like a granny.
Yeah. I just love blankets. I have another one in felted tweed that's log cabin style.
Nice.
It just has to be sewn together.
Yeah.
You should get that going.
You should. All right. Well, I have one more too.
Okay.
But of course, I like small things, and it's Hayden's birthday coming up, so I thought I would make him a new sweater. And
okay, this little guy is just the cutest guy ever. We're going to show some pictures of him in the antler sweater.
Modeling a sweater, yeah. So this is I had a 6 skein mini skein pack.
Those mini skeins that you get that are kind of color coordinated, right?
Yeah. But you could easily do this with something from your stash as well, or a self-striping yarn or variegated yarn would be nice.
And then for the background,
and then I had to use HatTrick semi-solid.
Yes.
I love this yarn. It's so nice to knit with.
This is another reason why we need to knit with our own yarns.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
You just realize, oh my God, this is just as beautiful as I tell everybody it is.
Yeah. So I showed a picture. I put a picture of all the mini skeins down, and I put an orange on one end, because you suggested that one, and a burgundy on the other one. I think that was Barn Burner. And I sent a picture to Hayden, and I said, what do you like better, the orange or the burgundy? And I think the answer was 2 seconds later, orange. So that's
definitely
a
3-year-old boy color.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, he's going to be 4 now.
Okay.
Yeah. So if we show the back, you can kind of see the design a little better. But so it's a work in progress. But this is a really nice pattern. This is it's called the Ipana cardigan, and like slip stitch colorwork, this is done with bobbles, and they're just done with stripes. So it's quite an easy pattern to do. Yeah. But
Holly has a mitten pattern like that.
Yes, gumdrops. Yeah.
We'll have to take a close-up picture of this and show everybody.
Yeah.
So nice job.
Next time I'll have some pictures of Hayden wearing his sweater.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we should probably talk about the yarns that Hayden was wearing, modeling for us.
Yes. Yeah. So tell everybody about our latest
acquisition. Well, we just got in yarns from Brooklyn Tweed. We have been waiting a long, long time. Brooklyn Tweed wasn't taking new stores for ever, it seemed like. And I think they just now got into a situation where they can add more stores. I know they've been looking at adding stores internationally. I think they have them in Australia and
I think there's one in Denmark. Yeah, if you go to their stockist list, it's quite an impressive list. Yeah.
So we were contacted and we said, absolutely, we want to carry it for sure. And so we've been working for the last, I'd say, 3 months on samples primarily.
Yeah. So what's so special about Brooklyn Tweed, Barb?
Well, domestic, right?
Yeah, they're doing something. They're doing something that not a lot of other companies are doing.
Right.
Which is growing. Not that Brooklyn Tweed is growing the sheep, but they're using domestically produced sheep, and they're having it milled in the U.S. and they're having it
cleaned
dyed
and scoured in the U.S.
and dyed. Yeah. So on the ball band, they'll say what breed of sheep it is, where it was milled, and where it was dyed, and that's really nice.
And there's something to be said for that. The whole sustainability thing, the whole thing about keeping yarns domestic in North America for us, anyways.
Yeah.
And their colors are also the other thing that are very unique. You don't see these colors in every yarn range, so I think that's something that people here in Edmonton are going to really enjoy.
Yes. Well, the other thing for me is that Jared Flood has lined up this, very wonderful array of designers that are doing designs for him in this yarn. So that really adds to the value addedness of the yarn.
Right. And then the popularity of the online designers too, like Andrea Mowry. She designed a number of pieces in his yarn, and the rep from Brooklyn Tweed told me that she wishes she would have had a heads up because they ran out of yarn so quickly.
Right.
When Andrea published her pattern.
Right. Yeah.
So there's a lot of popularity for the product line, which is another reason we wanted to have it. Yeah. So if you want any, how we're doing it here in our shop is we have samples of all the yarns out. We have quite a bit of yarn coming in. We started with Peerie, which is their merino blend.
It's beautiful.
Do we have a sample?
We do.
Of that
somewhere.
So they have kind of two different types of yarn. They have a wool, which is spun. Now, Cynthia, I'm probably going to get this wrong. Spun woolen.
Okay, so they have two kinds. One is woolen and one is worsted. And a woolen spin is when they jumble up all the fibers,
right? And
then they put a twist in it, so you get lots of air trapped in there.
Which is like loft, shelter, and quarry. Those are the three that are spun like that, all jumbled up.
And then worsted spin is when they align the fibers so that they're parallel. And when they spin them together, there's less air in there, but they're also smoother and shinier for that
Which
reason.
is like Peerie. They're fine, and Peerie also has some merino, I believe, in it.
Peerie is 100% merino.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. So that's like Peerie, Arbor, and their lace weight veil. They're all spun like that. So there's two kind of different ranges.
And so I pulled out 3 colors of Peerie because there are a lot of colors.
Yeah.
Barb said to me, pick a dark, medium, and a light. And of course, I picked out colors that I like to work with.
Those are beautiful.
Yeah, so I think that would be really fun, wouldn't it?
It would be lovely. So we're all thinking about doing the Harlow hat from Andrea Mowry.
This is brioche.
We've got a little challenge here in our shop for our staff to all knit one of these hats.
We thought it'd be fun to do like a group photo where we're all wearing our Harlow hats, right?
Yeah. So we've got that grater out front.
If you're hearing some noise in the background, there's a bobcat in our parking lot just out front of the store that is clearing away mounds of snow.
Mounds of snow, and
it's just
absolutely necessary because we have no place to park.
It's all part of the Alberta landscape in the middle of March.
All right, we'll talk louder.
We'll talk. Yeah. There's no problem.
So nice color palette you pick. I think this should be the colors for your hat too.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. Maybe for the next podcast I'll have to get my hair dyed those colors too. Wouldn't that be fun?
Very nice.
Okay. And then you've got this hat here as well.
Yeah, so this one is called Treefolds. We'll show you all of the samples that we have knit. I think we can go around and take pictures of them all. But we thought we'll have a couple of hats. We have a wrap. We did the Guernsey wrap out of arbor, and it turned out beautifully. It's kind of a sampler, a stitch sampler. And that's the nice thing, too, about these yarns is that they show stitch definition really well. This is a hat that Janet started. She's one of the people that work in our shop. And then she passed it on to Sabrina.
Oh.
And Sabrina's been knitting the cables and the top of the hat.
It looks complicated. Is it complicated?
You know, it looks like it is, but I don't think it is.
Sometimes cables are like that. You know, they look really scary, but then when you get into it, it's not so bad. Yeah. Now, you and Sabrina were kind of hunched over this hat when I came in this morning.
That's right. Okay, so we did hat surgery this morning. Sabrina had a cable that traveled the wrong way.
Ah, yes.
You know how that happens?
I do.
Instead of going, like this, it kind of went like that. And so we took those 4 stitches back, let them drop off, and reknit them.
Oh, that's so cool.
It was very cool.
Yeah. So you can just reknit. I mean, you could reknit 12 rows on 4 stitches much faster than you could if you had to rip out 12 rows.
That's right. So I don't know that we're completely done yet. We might have to do a little bit more, but that's what we were up to.
That looks really nice.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's really pretty yarn, too.
And you're right, this is an unusual color. It's a very pale kind of teal blue, but pastel, almost to gray. Yeah.
It's got some really nice shades.
Yeah.
So we won't go on and on about it, but if you're into Brooklyn Tweed and you'd like some, what we're doing is pre-orders. So we have shipments coming every so many weeks. And if you would like a particular shade, we found that they were out of stock on a lot of the colors that we wanted. So we chose to hold off and wait till they get restocked. And so we're bringing it in every 2 or 3 weeks. We'll have shipments coming. So if there's a color that you would like, let us know. We'll bring it in for you, and it'll be here at the shop when our shipments come.
So again, you can see these yarns on our online store. We've got Brooklyn Tweed as a yarn by brand, and all the qualities are there and all the colors are there. So if you see that it's out of stock, just send Barb an email.
Yeah, that's right.
Just email us. We'll put our email address in the show notes so that you can contact us.
I think we have to have all of our swatches online too.
Oh, yeah.
Because these show stitch definition so nice.
That is really nice. Yeah. I'm sure we could do that.
Do you think? Maybe?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that would be possible.
Sounds good. Now, we should talk a little bit about spring-summer, too, because we have so many nice yarns for spring-summer coming out.
Well, I'm holding one here in my lap.
Okay.
You want to talk about this one? Okay, so this is another American company, right?
Juniper Moon.
Yeah.
Right.
And this one's called Patagonia.
Right. So we brought this one in, again, for Colorwork. We have a lot of different colors of it. But because it's Patagonia, or it's from Argentina, in Argentina, they have some of the richest grasslands in the world.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
There's a really good video that we're going to share with people that get our newsletter. So if you get our newsletter, look for it. It's a great video from the company that makes this yarn. And they talk about how important the sheep are to them and how it's all about the health of the sheep.
Oh, nice.
They show shearing. They talk all about the organic way that they produce this wool.
Well, I see on the label here that this is organic merino. So what does that mean?
Well, it means that they've got the land is certified organic, and there's a lot of work that goes into getting your land to be like that.
So no pesticides.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And so the result is you're getting a yarn that's a higher quality. There's no, you don't have to worry about chemicals being in it to,
irritate your skin.
And
colors are really nice too.
Colors are really nice. They're beautiful.
So this is it's 100% wool. It's 100% merino wool.
Merino wool.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is and it's got, so it's merino wool, which means it has quite a bit of spring and stretch to it, which is always really nice.
Yeah.
You get the warmth factor and you get the softness factor.
That's right.
Yeah.
And this company too was involved in getting that GOTS certification, which means a lot too, right? We're seeing more and more yarn producers, more and more sheep producers getting GOTS certification. So it's something I think that we're going to see more as a standard than an exception going forward.
Yeah. So I'm putting this swatch on my arm. That's sort of how I test its its softness factor when I put it on my arm. I've seen other people do this too, which is just to take your swatch and kind of tuck it up around your neck. And if you knit a swatch and you just tuck it under your shirt and wear it against your skin for a while, you'll know what it feels like when you wear it as a sweater. Right?
What do you think about that? Because you were talking about, do people really want softness? And it's softness factor.
It's interesting when people come into the store. We try to find out what kind of project they're going to work on. There are maybe 10% of our customers who come into the store and they just want to look around and feel the yarns. 90% of the customers come in with a specific project in mind. Sort of my experience. And so when you find out what they want to do, then you try and guide them towards the right yarn for it. And as you said before, if you're going to do color work, sometimes you want a yarn, we call it a toothy yarn, right? You want something with a little bit of catch to it so that the fabric that you create is smooth on top and all the colors are represented equally. And when you use a superwash yarn, you don't always get that. If you use an acrylic yarn or a plant fiber in your color work, then the colors don't stick together and you see more of the strands on the back side and there's more holes in your work. So it's part of that, but softness is also a big part of that.
Yeah, and I think it's possible to have both, right? And I'd say this is one of the yarns where you have both.
Yeah.
Brooklyn Tweed is like that. Rowan is like that. The Valley Tweed is so soft, and yet it's toothy at the same time. So, look around. Were we talking about doing a rating on our online store?
We were talking about ways to make our online store be more user friendly.
Being in the store.
Yeah. And so I challenged Barb to do some online shopping and see what we like from other online stores and what we don't like. But I did say that one of the things that's hard to get across in a description or in a photograph is how the yarn feels. So that might be something to develop as some sort of guideline around a softness factor.
Yeah.
But softness and how it feels is very personal.
It's true.
And so I think, if you're thinking about using a particular yarn, it's not a bad idea to buy one skein and to knit up a swatch.
Yes.
Wash that swatch, block it, and then wear it.
Yeah.
You can wear it on your hands, you can wear it around your neck. Sometimes I find you have to wear something a little bit longer. Sometimes I'll wear a scratchier wool and it feels uncomfortable when I'm warm. But when I go outside, it feels beautiful. So I think temperature also has a lot to do with the way that some fibers feel against your skin, which is maybe why, cotton is a very popular fiber in warm southern climates, and wool is a very popular fiber when it's cold out.
Yeah.
But I wear socks all year long. I wear wool socks all year long. I love the way they wick moisture away from your feet, and I like how quickly they dry. So when I go hiking, I wear wool socks, and obviously not on the beach.
And I have to say, I think it's so important to wash your swatches because they change so much depending on what yarn you're using. Seriously, all I've been doing all month is swatching and washing and blocking, and it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
The yarn's totally transformed sometimes.
Yeah, and using like a nice wool wash too.
Right.
So Eucalan or soak, something that is going to add a bit of a conditioning element to your yarn is also a good thing. So Patagonia is new for us here in the store, Juniper Moon Patagonia, and it's available on the online store.
That's right.
So I think, Barb, you have one more new yarn you wanted to tell me about. Is it, for those of you who don't know, Barb does all of our buying, and I do more of the events and workshops and stuff like that. So you got in a new yarn from Rowan, didn't you?
We got in 2 new yarns.
2 new yarns.
Yeah,
all right.
from Rowan.
So tell me about these ones.
Yeah, so these are kind of one's for summer. It's a cotton kind of denim yarn, and the other one's a baby yarn. So we've been having a lot of fun just flipping through some of the books that have come in. This is the new book from Rowan called Ocean Blue.
This is by Martin Story.
Yeah, this is Martin Story Designs, and there's about 15 or 20 patterns in here. They're almost all kind of casual, I'd say beachy kind of wear, right? Yeah. And so this yarn comes in, of course, navy, white, denim colors because it's a denim yarn.
Recycled denim and recycled cotton. Interesting.
So a lot of the yarn manufacturers are recycling the fibers now. And so it's a really nice, it's another sustainable way of, getting yarn that's been recycled and has been used for some other purpose in the past. Yeah. And the other thing about it is it really makes it soft. It's got a lovely feel to it and a beautiful twist in the strand. I haven't personally knit with this one yet, but I've knit with other denim yarns that Rowan's had in the past, and they make beautiful projects. Yeah. Sometimes they will shrink a little bit, right? It's just like blue jeans. They might lighten in color a bit, especially the dark navies. So that's something that you want to be aware of. But you can't beat them for a soft, beautiful sweater or a wrap or a sleeveless shell in the summertime. The cotton just absorbs any moisture from your body, and it feels really, really nice.
So I noticed this is a DK, sort of a DK gauged yarn.
Yeah, so it's perfect for summer wear.
Made in Italy. Yeah.
Italian.
So that's always really nice.
I think that's where they're doing a lot of this recycling. We're seeing Italian cashmeres come in recycled, the denim. So I think the clothing or fabric manufacturing, the textile industry is repurposing a lot of fabric into yarn.
Good for them. And then it does say here we recommend hand wash at 30 degrees to avoid shrinkage.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's another question people often ask is, can I wash this in my machine? And I just think if you've taken the time to knit something, then take the time to wash it by hand. Right. That's my own personal opinion. I know new moms and other people are very busy, and there are yarns for that. But I think if you knit something with this beautiful yarn, it would just make it last so much longer look nicer if it's hand washed.
That's right, and it takes no time at all. You can just throw some Eucalan in your sink and drop in your item and walk away pretty much, literally.
Yeah. You can put it in your washing machine too. Yeah, you just don't have to agitate anything. Yeah. Keep the water lukewarm. Yeah.
I was just going to show a couple of the patterns because there's some beautiful designs in here. They've got, little hoodies and wraps and cardigans.
Lots of cables on that one.
They have some really neat designs. This one's called Fishbone. And so it's a guy's sweater with fish on it. And then they've used the same idea on this woman's tunic. So there's really great ideas. Yeah. I'd love to knit this one.
I like that vest too. It's stripy, very nautical looking. Hey?
Yeah. So if you have a chance, flip through this. Rowan has their books online too, where you can see every single pattern inside, and it gives you an idea of if that's a book you'd like to have on your coffee table or to invest in.
We can put a link to the books too, and this one is Precious Knits. This one is by Grace Jones. And there's just some adorable baby patterns in here. I suspect too some patterns for older children also. I'm always attracted to the ones that have Fair Isle or color work on them.
Isn't that
because it just, to me, it just makes the knitting more interesting. Yeah.
And that's not a lot of color work. That's just a little bit on the crown or around the yoke.
Right. And I'm competitive, right? So if I have to compete with other grandmas, I want my knits to be, the ones that everybody feel like are, special. But these are...
She's not competitive.
But yeah, the photography in these books is so nice too. Like they just do really crisp, clear photography, and the kids are
adorable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and the yarn is really nice too. So this whole book is using baby Cash Soft Merino. We brought this in because we used to have Debbie Bliss baby cashmere merino.
Yes.
And you guys, there's something about 10% cashmere. I feel that that's the perfect amount to have in a yarn. It's not too much so that it pills or that you have to take extra special care with it. But it's just enough to make you know that you're knitting with cashmere. That's all I can say about it. It's beautiful yarn. And so when Debbie wasn't making hers, or we couldn't get it here in Canada anymore, we brought this in.
That's really nice.
And it's beautiful.
Yes. This sweater has a little cat face embroidered on the back.
Cute?
It's so nice, yeah. And the sweater again looks like it's reverse stockinette or garter stitch, which is
super easy to knit.
And just just a change from the regular.
The palette too that this yarn comes in is so pretty. We picked a real kind of mixed palette. We had a few neutrals and then some brights. But you can get it in all kinds of different colors.
Yeah,
it's great.
That's definitely
there's some cute toys in there too,
and slippers. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. Rowan is always, their yarns are just
they're classic,
so beautiful. Yeah,
I don't think you can. And again, talk about a color palette. They have a beautiful palette that's different than anybody else's. They obviously spend a lot of time and work in getting products that you're going to love. So come on in and have a peek at these if you get a chance.
Right, and we might actually be meeting up with Martin Story.
That's right. Cynthia and I have been invited to a special event that Rowan's having across the United States. They're going to be in 4 different locations. They're traveling across the country, coming to yarn stores near them. And so that's so nice because we've been invited to go down to the West Coast event that they're having in Seattle. And so we're going to be able to see all the new designs for 2019 and 2020. Yeah. We're super excited about that.
So there may be like a, Knit with Celebrities excerpt in our next podcast because we...
Now, I don't want you to have a heart attack or anything.
Okay.
But Jan said that she's talking with Arnie and Carlos about coming.
No way.
And, maybe they might come to Canada.
Okay.
Oh, I see a little wet spot under her chair.
Thanks. That would be really cool.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Super cool.
That is something that you'd get super excited about.
I would get super excited about that.
She's pumped about Arnie and Carlos. Yeah, so that's always exciting.
It is exciting. What I like best about talking to designers is just to get some insight into, how they approach pattern design, what they find are, their challenges and their hurdles. And sometimes it's exactly the same thing that we face as knitters. But it's just an interesting perspective. Yeah. And they often have very unique personalities and lovely accents and things like that, which is always delightful, right?
Yeah, perfect. So we might have 2 opportunities this year to see Rowan too, because I'm hoping to go back to TNNA and bring you with me this time. It would be lovely.
All right. So that's one of our trips next month.
Right, yeah.
But before we get on to next month, we should maybe talk about the next flash mob that's coming up.
The next flash mob. And we also need to tell everybody about Lucy.
Yes.
Why don't you do that while I get the flash mob?
Sure. So we've told you before that that Lucy Neatby is doing an excursion from Edmonton to Yellowknife, and it's a knitter's trip. But she's going to come in a week early and do some workshops here in Edmonton with us, and so we're really excited about that. Mm-hmm. We've got a lineup of full-day workshops and some half-day workshops. The full-day workshops we're going to be holding at our very nearby Hilton Doubletree Hotel.
We love this hotel.
They have a wonderful conference center, and they we pay for a daily rate for all of our guests. So everybody gets breakfast, they get lunch, and they
not
get
just breakfast.
Snacks
they get like little omelets in teeny weeny little trays, and it's just so nice.
Yeah, it's a chef inspired continental breakfast that is It's beyond description. It's really good and different each day as well, which is nice. And so, we're going to do 4 full-day workshops with Lucy. She's going to teach us the ins and outs of double knitting.
I'm so excited about that one, Cynthia.
So double knitting is reversible knitting, right? And it's very cool and technical. And Lucy is a wonderful instructor when it comes to technical things. She's also going to do a full-day workshop on short rows. And one on socks, because she is the queen of socks, and then a full day on lace knitting as well.
Oh,
yeah,
that's great.
Really good.
So lace as well.
Yeah, and then we're going to have her here in the store, also doing a couple of 3-hour workshops, and those will be about hats. And and again, it's a project-based class, so there'll be one on a scarf that's double knitting, and then we're doing 2 hat classes, one from the top down and the other from the bottom up, but both of them will be interspersed with all kinds of cool technical instruction.
This is something that if you're local, you want to sign up for right away, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And we don't have an unending amount of seats, right?
No.
Each class has only got so many seats in it.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then if you're out of town, this is something that's worth traveling here for. You know, people are, after Lucy's done here, she's taking a group to Yellowknife.
Yeah.
So if you ever wanted to go on a northern adventure in Yellowknife, I think there might still be a seat or 2 left in that package. You could inquire about that.
Yeah.
But if you don't, or you can't go on the trek, come here to Edmonton and come and take a class from Lucy. And
she is an amazing instructor.
Yeah.
You learn so much from her, and she's, again, you know, if you struggle with technical things, take this class, because she's going to explain it and make it completely doable for you.
Right. Yeah. And then ask her about how Barb saved her life in Jasper, because there's a really good story there. Okay.
Just after Lucy leaves, we also have Fiona Ellis coming for a visit.
Right.
So
Yay.
I haven't got those classes completely picked out yet, but we're going to do another weekend with Fiona Ellis here also. And so it's going to be a summer of Canadian designers here in Edmonton.
Yeah. Talk about a great lineup coming up. Right? It's going to be really exciting. Yeah. And we forgot to tell people about Brooklyn Tweed sending a trunk show.
Right. So in May.
That's right. We're going to have a custom trunk show just for our shop from Brooklyn Tweed.
All right.
So
flash mob. Once a month, we do a yarn that we put out for sale. It's usually an indie dyer that we use. And this year we've been inspired by the zodiac signs.
The stars are in alignment. And this month it's all about Aries. Aries, and we have a shawl right behind us that was knit in the colorway that we're going to be featuring. So this is done by Ancient Arts. They have a brand new base, a merino single that they're launching, and ta-da!
Oh, that's gorgeous. Oh,
they did up Aries in this one. Now this one's inspired by fiery personalities.
Isn't Aries the god of war?
I'm not sure.
I think so.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah.
This is all about reds and fieriness and passion. And
Carolyn did a really nice little synopsis of it, which we'll print in our newsletter. So
she talked to us about what inspired her, right?
And so each of these skeins comes with a custom progress keeper. And that's a little ram on the progress keeper.
Yeah.
And the colors are fabulous. And this wool is so soft.
Isn't it soft?
Merino.
I know. It's really nice. Yeah. So this month, this is what you get when you order. You're going to get a skein of this and the little progress keeper. Now, we have a couple of other things that we've been creating. We have a gauge tool.
Yep, I'll find it.
Can you find it? And Diane from Brick Bubble, she's a local artist here, and she makes laser wood items, among other things. She's made these little Aries symbols, progress keepers for us. And she also made us a gauge. And this gauge is twofold. You can put your needles through it and measure what size they are. You can use the space in the middle to count your stitches to measure gauge. But then you can also hang your progress keepers.
Can I help you with that?
Yeah, in there. And so people are collecting these. They come with a skein, and so we thought it would be fun to give them something to hang the progress keepers on. So you can put your progress keepers on here when they're not in use in your project. And yeah, it makes it really pretty. Yeah, fun thing. And then we also had one of our local bag makers design a special Zodiac bag for us.
I had that upside down, so I just have to hold it the right way.
There we go.
Yeah, so this is very special fabric.
It's very special fabric. There are only, I think, 12 of these bags, and the possibility of another 12 to come. So we thought we would show these to you because Cynthia and I both have one of these bags. We met. It's Atelier, right? Their company name is Atelier Nekozuki. Right, and now I've gone completely blank, and I can't remember her name, and I'm so sorry. But we'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, for sure. She does this beautiful job of going to Japan to handpick the fabrics in here.
That's right.
Yeah. And this one is Zodiac inspired.
Right.
Yeah.
And the bag is as beautiful inside as it is outside. She uses just really great prints. This one, yeah. Pretty print. It almost looks like Japanese paper.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And it's a great shape. This little bag surprisingly holds a ton of stuff.
Yeah, this is the box shape. Yeah. How cool is that, right?
Isn't that cool?
It's got a zipper closure on it. It's got all your Zodiac signs on it. There's a little tab here and here if you wanted to hang a carabiner on it, right?
So we have a few of these in our shop too. Get them while they last.
So these will go out on March 20th?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, with our flash model.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, this theme is just so much fun. Barb.
Isn't it fun?
Yes, it is.
And this shawl that we have behind us. Just going to talk. The name of this is Reina. And I know a few people have done this. I've seen this done in our HatTrick Yarn, too.
Okay. So this is Carolyn's design?
No, this is designed by Noura Backlund. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. It's knit in the color Aries in Ancient Arts Merino singles. It only took one skein to do this one.
Wow. It just feels so soft.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Caroline told me she did a slight pattern modification. She used a 4mm needle instead of the one in the pattern.
Okay.
But there you go. There's a project idea for you.
Right. Oh, good. Well, we'll put a link to the pattern in the show notes also. Yeah. That's lovely. This is so nice. And then speaking of shawls,
yes,
we have a new book as well.
We do. We got this book in. I haven't had time to flip it as much as I would like to, but this is Melanie Berg's book.
Right. And
she's got so many gorgeous shawls out on needles right now.
Book.
Does she have a second one?
It says finally the first book by Melanie Berg. Yeah. So she's published a lot of individual patterns, but this is the first book. And Melanie Berg is a German designer. She does gorgeous things.
We saw her book when we were at a show.
Oh,
I think it was Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Yarn Culture Booth had her book and her shawls.
Okay.
But she's got quite a few that are kind of famous, right, on the spice market. And
I like this one, Caress My Soul.
Isn't that beautiful?
It's that crescent shawl kind of look. Yeah. Yeah.
It's filled with... I love the one on the cover, too. Slip stitch mosaic.
Yeah. It's beautiful. And on the back cover, too.
Every single shawl in this book is beautiful.
Yeah, this is really nice.
I just flipped it quickly, and
there's
it's
so hardcover too, which is nice. You know, it's nice to have something that you can put on your bookshelf and you see the spine, be able to read the spine on it. And
and they're just so nicely made.
Midnight in Berlin. That's gorgeous. Wow, look at those stripes on there. You could use a lot of fantastic color combinations.
Well, and I'm thinking, the new Peerie would be beautiful in one of these.
Perhaps.
Or maybe it's Rhichard Devrieze.
Oh, this is really nice. So that's a book that we'll have on our online store also.
It's nice to dream and to look through books and imagine what if, and go to your stash and think, could I do this?
Yes.
I love books.
Yeah, well, you've obviously been working through your stash, which
I
is
have.
Good for
and
you.
I've been gifting it away. And
yes.
Thank you, Marie Kondo.
It's the Barbarone Endowment Fund in yarn.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. I think we have one more thing behind us here.
Do we?
Yeah, you were going to, two more things.
Oh.
So you were going to surprise me with this.
Yes.
What is this?
Okay. This is, we're speaking of Colorwork.
Yarn
buddies. This is so much fun, you guys. These are two colorways that have been specifically chosen by the dye artists at Fleece Artist Handmaiden. We asked them to create combos for us for saltwater mittens.
Oh.
So like Cynthia's mittens, these are color combos that Jana has picked. These colors have been specifically picked to showcase off in a mitten.
That's such a great idea.
Yeah. Now you could knit mittens with this, but you could also knit hats or scarves or anything really. This is their 2/8 BFL. So it's a sport weight BFL. There's 200 meters on one of these skeins. And
so you got 400 meters in a bundle.
400 meters in a bundle. You can easily do a pair of mittens, either stranded colorwork, or you could have some fun and hold both of these colors together.
And do a fast knit. Well, that's really fun. So now I'm going to have to cast on some more mittens. Okay. All right. Next time, I might have a whip and something like this.
That's right.
It is fun. It is fun. It just like tips off your imagination to do something.
And if you're looking for pattern ideas, the Saltwater book is a great idea. Also, go online because Ruth Gallo has some patterns that she's done. In particular, I can think of two. She has the Lone Pine Mitten pattern.
Be perfect in this yarn too. Yeah. And then she's done another one. Sorry to interrupt. She's done another one that's just blank. And you can print off the chart. It's like the Lone Pine Mitten, but you print it off and you make your own design in it.
Yes.
And then, it's like a color your own adventure one, which would be cool too.
Yeah. Sorry. Well, thank you, because that was what I was going to say.
Of course.
I know if I wait long enough, she'll just tell.
And what is this?
Okay. This is something else that's new too. These are new blocking wires. I found these last year at Knit City.
Right, Holly had them in her
Holly had them. And this manufacturer is from Israel. They're a little hard to get. And so I just found out that our friends from Estelle, John and Chris, are bringing these in. So we've got a whole bunch of these coming in. The neat thing about them is that they are really flexible.
So these are blocking wires. Yeah. These are blocking wires. And so you thread them through your shawl or, whatever else you need to block. And, but they're
super flexible.
These are cool because these look like they could be travel friendly.
They can, and we can mail them out, which blocking wires are a tough one because they're hard to mail. They're usually in tubes that are about this long.
They're very rigid, yeah.
These are super flexible. They roll up like this, but when you unfurl them, they go straight. Don't be scared.
Don't poke my eye. Yeah. It's all fun and games until
somebody gets hurt.
Yeah. I'm wearing my safety goggles.
Are you? So these just come, they're flexible wires that go really straight.
You're right. Here. me help you with that. Now you can wince. They're tied up very. So, look at that.
So the nice thing is, you know how when you're putting your blocking wires in, these go in really nice because they're so thin.
I can't believe how.
And you can block right on your lap. You know, you don't have to be hunched over a table.
Thank you.
Right?
Yes.
I know everybody needs these. They come in 4 different kind of styles and sizes. So you can get short ones, you can get long ones, you can get short and long, or you can get the super duper pack, which is kind of what I got. And it contains some of everything.
That's amazing.
As well as T-pins.
Right.
Now the new ones, these came in these cute little bags like this, but the new ones I saw are in tins.
Oh,
so
nice.
They've got brand new packaging.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to get those. Yeah, so you see how they go straight or you can curl them up.
Yeah, it's very easy to put it away. You probably don't even need the twist ties, but I'm going to put them back on here.
Just in case.
Yep. That's
all right,
great.
So before Cynthia pokes her eye out, we better say goodbye. Because I think
our time is up.
Our time's probably up.
All right. So stay tuned because we'll be announcing 3 winners for our monthly draw from comments on our.
That's right.
On our podcast. Oh, sorry.
Enter our Peppino contest because we're going to give away an entire die lot of Peppino, thanks to Rhichard Devrieze.
Yeah, to do that, you just have to purchase Peppino on our online store or come into the shop if you're local to do that.
And give us some feedback on our online store if you wouldn't mind. You know, if you have a chance to go there and have a look, we'd like to know, you know, what is it that you love about the site? What do you not like about the site? Give us some feedback.
So maybe this month, I'm just throwing this out there.
Okay.
But maybe this month what we do is we pick 3 people who've given us some constructive suggestions.
Or compliments. We like those too.
Okay. And we give them like a web coupon.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's do that. Can we do that?
We can do that.
Because we couldn't do that with our old program.
We couldn't, but we can now.
All right.
All right. So this month, look for your name at the end of the podcast and we'll have some yarn prizes. And then next month, leave a comment on this particular podcast and talk to us about your online shopping experience and what you like and what you think we should have. Or
maybe we need a softness factor.
And then we'll pick some names for that.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Thanks so much for joining us again. We kind of blabbed on and on today.
Love it.
We had a lot to talk about.
Well, it's part of the intro, right? It's all the yarn.
I know. We just had a lot to talk about today. So thanks for hanging in there with us.
Have a wonderful March, April, everybody. Hope the weather improves wherever you are.
Come and visit us. Bye now.